Today we are finally talking about the wall dynamo on this channel. I don't know why I never covered this weapon. I've talked about it in the best traps videos, in the tier list video, in the top 10 best traps videos. It's a really great trap. You should use it. And the only time I ever really talked about perks or anything was when the wall dynamo got its reskin, the Zapplemax. If you guys didn't know, Machinist Mina Pack was a thing that was forever ago. You could pay money to get the Zapplemax. If I compare them right here, you'll see that they are exactly identical. They are the exact same trap other than the Zapplemax. Actually looks significantly different. It got a really good overhaul. As far as skins go, it's a pretty good one, but it's the exact same. So if I talk about them interchangeably, that's why. The wall dynamo is a great trap, as mentioned. It could be nature or energy. You just put it on the wall. It damages enemies in the whole field. I actually sometimes prefer it over the broadside, not for damage, but because the broadside shoots in like kind of the middle of the wall. This actually shoots the whole wall and a little bit outside. Its range is quite nice, and that's a big deal. However, it's also got some strategy. So the wall dynamo is kind of a small trap. If you guys have, seen some big brain strategies, you could actually put it on a little half wall with like wall darts shooting over it. So you basically got 2 wall darts doing the job. Wall darts can shoot 3 tiles and through targets, so it's a really good trap. I made a best perks on that video recently as well. Link to that down below. I'm just saying it's a very versatile trap that you can pretty much stick anywhere. It's only got a 1 tile range, but if you put it around your defense, pretty much anywhere that makes sense, it's going to do a good job. So if you want to perk it efficiently, these are the basic perks you're going to want to use. Crit rating, crit damage, reload, and damage. That is going to work for any specific use case. This weapon doesn't really hit like a nuke or anything. It's not going to be 1 or 2 shotting smashers, so you pretty much only want these general perks. There are some arguments for like double reload, double damage. In that instance, you'll be less reliant on crits, but your overall damage per second will go down. So I don't know what the situation that you might want that is. Like if you are using this trap normally, it's going to be attacking tons of enemies at once, so it's going to crit plenty of times, and you're never just placing 1 wall dynamo. There's probably 2 facing each other, or there's like 4 along the walls in a row, or even 6. Like you're gonna crit at some point, and you might as well optimize your damage over time. This weapon isn't just firing once. Now, if you really wanted to go crazy, you could, I talked about this in the wall darts video, you can technically go reload double crit rating and crit damage. That was about 4.5% less DPS on the wall darts, which is not that significant. Typically in this game, you do not want double crit rating. For normal weapons that have like a mag size and they're shooting tons of bullets, that is not good. A damage perk is better almost every time, and that's just because of diminishing returns. Your first crit rating perk will buff your chance to crit by like 28%, but then your second one is only buffing it by 13. So you go from 10% chance to 38, and then the second one goes from 38 to 51. It's less useful than a damage perk in normal weapons, but specifically for traps, sometimes crit rating works. I do not suggest this. I just am opening this up to the conversation just so that you guys are well informed. But I really want to reiterate that these perks that I'm showing here are typically what you want. Nature or energy is actually quite important. Energy will work all the time. If you guys haven't seen my elements video, I'll link it down below, but basically energy does about 75% of your weapon damage to elemental zombies. So a nature, fire, or water enemy will take 75 damage from a weapon that does 100 damage if it's energy. However, if you're running nature on the wall dynamo, it is really a lot better in a water zone. I've said this before with the ceiling electric field, which is an amazing trap. Link to that best perks down below. The ceiling electric field can be nature, and I've talked about this before because that was an instance where I mentioned that a 130 power level nature ceiling electric field out damages an energy one in water zones that's 144. So you don't even have to supercharge this weapon, and a nature copy will be better. So you could have an instance where you have a supercharged wall dynamo that's energy and a normal wall dynamo that's just nature, and it will actually be better to use a nature one in water zones. So it's very key to make sure that you're using both elements. I know that not every player can afford 2 versions of a schematic, but I'm just saying when you level up in the end game and you're progressing throughout Save the World, it's something you want to keep in mind. But these perks will work for general use case. As for the final perk, it's kind of up to you. I've just blindly used increased building health in this one. I'm pretty random about it. Like some of my perks, let me switch my screen here, are increased building health. Some of them are durability. It really depends on the trap. Sometimes I'm healing, apparently not as often as I thought. My anti-air does it. Typically, I think healing your walls is probably a lot better because building health, you can think about it like a propane or a smasher or husk smacking the wall. It will increase the amount of time it takes for them to break that wall. But if you're healing 4.8% of your wall every 10 seconds, you'll actually have a little bit of survivability in your loadout. So most of my traps are increased building health, but after I've thought critically about it, making these best perks, I might change my ways. But let's be honest, if I haven't noticed a difference all these years, it probably doesn't matter. Wall dynamos are typically off to the side, so those walls are not typically taking a ton of damage either way. You know your trap tunnels, you know your playstyle, you know what's best for you. Heals attached or building health, it's kind of like the conversation between base or Nox. Honestly, both if you can, either or, it doesn't matter. Durability is the last thing to talk about though. You can see that the base durability on this weapon is 36. That is 36 times that this trap can fire before it breaks. That's not that much. However, I have survivor squads upping my trap durability. If you guys don't know about survivor squads, I'll link them down below. That whole video covers everything you want to know. But normally, like trap damage, health bonus, range damage, none of those other set bonuses do really anything in the game whatsoever. The video down in the description explains it a lot. Trap durability actually makes a difference. I don't know what my total trap durability is, but it's over 100%. So mine says 36, but it's probably close to like 80. So I'm just saying I don't personally need trap durability. And if you guys have your survivor squads set up and leveled up to have trap durability survivors, you probably don't need it either. Machinist Harper also exists. So if you want to use her to increase your trap durability, how many times am I going to say that? That's an option. And finally, your teammates might have better survivor squads than you. In my case, that's true. I often play with friends of mine that have max trap durability. So as good as my squads are, they sometimes don't even matter. But if you are finding that your wall dynamos are running out in game, throwing on a durability perk makes perfect sense. You can always change it later. 600 reperk might sound like a lot, but I've got like 140,000 sitting here, and you could too if you just grind the game enough. Reperk comes by the weekly shop fairly often, and regular 4-player missions have reperk as a reward constantly. I have a daily series on my channel where I point out those missions, and if you're looking to get some reperk, definitely run those that I point out. So yeah, that's the wall dynamo. Comment down below if you guys got some help from this. Subscribe if you're new. Definitely a great trap. Definitely recommend using it, and hopefully this helped you guys set it up nice and proper. I'll see you guys in the next one, and thanks for watching. And then